Be honest with yourself for just a second here. When you look at your daily habits, your stalled projects or those goals that just keep getting pushed to tomorrow, do you instantly think you're lazy? Do you secretly believe you just kind of lack that magical discipline everyone else seems to have?
Well, I've got some news for you. You're wrong. You really are. If you're struggling to stay on task, you don't actually have a discipline problem. What you have is an addiction problem.
Welcome to this explainer on the illusion of laziness and reclaiming your focus. Today, we're tearing down this whole illusion and showing you exactly how to get your focus back. The core theme we're exploring from our source material today is a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but it's honestly incredibly liberating. Right now, your brain is actively being trained to fail. And while the environment that created this isn't your fault, fixing it, that's entirely your responsibility. Let's get into it. Section 1. The myth of laziness. Let's hold up a mirror to a super familiar scenario. Think about the last time you sat down to do something genuinely important. Maybe it was some deep work for your career or studying for a really critical exam. You set up your desk, you sit down, and you've got the best intentions in the absolute world. And then you decide to check your phone, just for a second, right? Just a quick glance to clear a notification. But the next thing you know, you look up and suddenly 40 entire minutes have completely vanished into thin air. Poof, gone. It's an agonizing, frustrating experience, and honestly, it happens to almost all of us. When this happens, a very specific, nasty psychological loop kicks in. You look at that lost time and you tell yourself, man, I need to focus more. I just need more discipline. You completely beat yourself up over it. But the very next day, the exact same distraction happens all over again. And that is exactly when you start believing this incredibly dangerous, self-blaming thought, maybe I'm just lazy. But here is the profound truth that no one is telling you. Let this really sink in for a moment. You are not lazy. You are overstimulated. Your brain isn't broken at all. In fact, your brain is doing exactly what it was biologically designed to do. Section 2. The dopamine trap. To understand why your perfectly functioning brain is basically betraying your goals, we've got to dive into the actual science behind our habits. We need to look at the chemical operating system that runs our minds. And that system, it runs on dopamine. Now, what's really fascinating here is how the actual science completely destroys the common myth about what dopamine is. Most people think dopamine equals pleasure. It doesn't. Dopamine is all about anticipation. It's the chemical driver that makes you want something, not the chemical that makes you enjoy it once you actually have it. Just look at this massive problem we're facing today. On one side, you've got scrolling on your phone. This delivers dozens of tiny, highly engineered rewards every single minute. A new video, a fresh post, another notification ping. On the flip side, you have real life. If you're studying, the reward comes hours later. If you're working, it comes weeks later. And if you're building a business or a meaningful project, that reward might come months or literally even years down the road. So, when your brain is presented with these two options, it sees a severe imbalance. And it asks a highly logical, completely natural, yet ultimately destructive question. Why in the world would I work hard if I can feel good right now? Your brain simply calculates the path of least resistance to the most immediate dopamine anticipation. It takes the easy route, every time. Section 3. An unfair game. We need to realize that this trap we're caught in isn't just some accident of nature. The core issue here is not that your work is inherently too hard. The real trap is that everything else around us is simply too easy. I mean, just look at what you're up against when you try to sit down and focus. You're not just fighting your own fleeting attention span. You're competing against thousands of brilliant engineers. You're fighting entire corporate teams, massive servers, and incredibly highly funded systems. And their absolute primary job, their entire reason for existing, is to keep you addicted to their screens. The odds are completely overwhelming. We really have to treat this with the urgency it deserves. Apps are not neutral. They aren't just helpful tools sitting passively on your device waiting for you to find them useful. Absolutely not. These digital platforms are explicitly and aggressively designed to hijack your human attention and keep you endlessly engaged. So I really want to reassure you, when you find that you cannot focus, it is not a sign of personal weakness. As our source material lays out so clearly, you're playing a game that was designed for you to lose. You are participating in a completely rigged system. Section 4. Reclaiming your focus. Knowing the game is rigged is really only the first step.
The real question is, how do we actually fix this? We've established that the solution requires way more than just fleeting motivation or relying on sheer discipline. Because, let's face it, relying on willpower against a mathematically rigged system will eventually just exhaust you.
So, the crucial point here is implementing this precise three-step playbook to fundamentally restructure your physical and digital environment. We have to literally reverse engineer the trap that's been set for our dopamine systems.
Let's break down step 1, making distractions harder. If access to a distraction is easy, human nature dictates you are going to take it, always. So you have to put friction between you and that dopamine hit. Delete the most addictive apps off your phone. Force yourself to actually log out of websites after you use them. Remove the shortcuts from your browser. You have to make your brain work much, much harder to get its digital junk food. Okay, let's move to step 2 and see how this builds. You need to make the work itself easier to start. Don't sit down and aim for 3 exhausting, grueling hours of deep work right off the bat. That's way too intimidating. Instead, aim for just 10 minutes. Just 10, because the psychological hurdle of simply starting is always the hardest part. Once you're in motion, your brain can finally begin to latch onto the task.
Finally, step 3. You absolutely must delay gratification. This means setting hard physical boundaries, like strictly no phone in the morning whatsoever. The underlying philosophy is super simple: work before reward. You have to literally retrain your dopamine system and strictly teach your brain that effort must always come first. The core realization of this entire explainer should be crystal clear by now. You are not dealing with a discipline problem. You are dealing with a stimulation problem. And if you don't aggressively fix the stimulation problem in your environment, you're going to inevitably keep choosing short-term comfort over long-term growth. But if you do take these steps, if you put the friction back in place and completely restructure your environment, look at what you stand to gain. These are incredibly rare and valuable prizes in today's world. You gain true focus. You gain absolute control over your own time. And ultimately, you gain freedom. So as we wrap up our analysis today, I want to leave you with a really powerful reframe to take into your life right now. You are not lazy. You're just addicted to easy. So think about it. What are you going to make harder for yourself today so that your tomorrow can actually be better?